Do you know why I can imagine why Greenpeace had this great idea. Did they know about their work in activism already, or?
Yes, and Carlos was the one, as you said, to bring you into this, and I'm really happy that he did. It was, you're such a goofball, but it was amazing working with you.
And this is the first time
I put my life into his hands.
I know that's a lot of trust there. That's an incredible.
I'll do it again in a second.
Carlos said, "I'm trusting you with my brother's life." He's a big guy.
So the work in the film, we were just talking about that ending. You know, we have to keep on the fight, keep on promoting, keep on advocating. And you have just come from the meeting at the UN a couple of weeks ago. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, Greenpeace invited me. Hello, everyone. Thank you for staying. By the way, it's nice to see that you guys stay to talk about my sexual activity, as I said before. That will come at the end. So keep seated. It's very short. It's not going to take long. Sorry. I was invited by Greenpeace because they proposed the Ocean Treaty. I mean, they are bringing us this, and they are discussing the United Nations delegates how to create, as it says at the end of the movie, this protection for at least 30% of the oceans by 2030, or, here's the expert that can tell us better than I can, the situation will be kind of irreversible, which sounds, and it is, catastrophic. So I was there in a panel with experts speaking about the documentary and my experience, and the only thing that I said was that when I saw that the room was half empty, that I was very worried. That was not a good start. Delegates didn't kind of care to show up, to listen to the people that know. And that's not a good start. That's why we have to keep on doing our thing, which is pressuring them to tell them we care and we want you to take action into it.
And John, can you talk about that, the importance of that immediate action? Like, that Javier just mentioned, it's imminent.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The United Nations has agreed to adopt a new global ocean treaty, and if this becomes everything, it's amazing, right?
That'd be amazing, yeah.
So we hope it's amazing, because it could be something that enables us to create a whole network of ocean sanctuaries, protecting 30% of the world's oceans in just a few years. That's the hope. That's really what we need. We need at least that. It's also possible that we fail, that not enough people get involved, and these bureaucrats that are not used to people paying attention to them don't feel that people are paying attention, and they just adopt something that is another piece of paper. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to do this. And similar, we didn't get the big Antarctic sanctuary last year. This year, I think will also be hard. But next year, I think we have a very good chance.
And you're going to keep on putting pressure. That's amazing.
Absolutely. We don't really take no for an answer very well.
Pardon me?
We don't take no for an answer very well.
Thank goodness.
That's why I have to go to that bloody submarine. They don't take no for an answer.
I'm going to take some questions from the audience for here. Yeah, here at the front.
Excellent, well put together film. I'm curious about on the Antarctic expedition. How many hours in a day were you filming? How many people were filming? And how did you together decide how to like cut it down to put together the narrative you wanted to bring to the audience?
Exactly. So on the Antarctic expedition, how many hours did they film a day, and how did they decide how to pull the narrative out of those many hours of filming?
Well, it was pretty clear in my mind that I wanted to film it all, because I didn't know what was going to happen. So when you don't know what you're to expect, you essentially try to film everything. The logistics were kind of complicated because there was only one spot in the boat, so I had to go by myself with doing production, sound, camera, the interviews. Thank God that within the crew there were Fabio, who was a fantastic camera that helped me and got some of these fantastic shots. And essentially, we just said, okay, let's see where we go. He is going to be our lead, and we follow him, essentially. And that's, we kept on shooting, and consider, it doesn't go dark. So we were shooting 20 hours a day.
Yeah, but there was not such a thing as a plan, like, because that's what you do. They call you to help, and you go, okay, what can I do? If I know anything about anything, it would be about movies. So I'll bring him, and we make a movie about it. Let's see if there is a movie here. And it happened that there was a movie, and I think it's an important movie for what it is, nor more nor less. And it kind of looked itself like we found it in the editing room. Like, okay, let's put this together, because at the end of the day, we were the eyes and the ears of all of you guys on that ship, and that's what we wanted to bring to you.
Thank you. Yeah, a question over there. Go ahead. Yeah.
Hi. Thank you for the film. My question is, what steps do you think that each of us can take to help make a difference in terms of our consumer decisions, the way we live our day-to-day lives, in addition to signing important petitions, such as the one presented in the film?
Right. So the question is, in addition to signing petitions, what else can we do in our day-to-day lives to make a difference?
Great question, thank you. So of course we should all do the things that we can in our personal lives. We could eat less meat, we could drive less, we could use less single-use plastic. All of these things make a difference. We should do as much of that as we can. We should push ourselves a little bit. Where we have real power and where we're really needed right now is when we work together to make sure that our elected officials, make sure that corporate executives understand that we want better options. We want a world with a real future. And so petitions are a small way that definitely help show these people that their constituents, their customers really are paying attention. And there are a lot of ways like that where you can just push yourself a little bit more, get a little bit more involved, become a member of an organization like Greenpeace or whatever one fits your values best, and keep working with us. We need you.
Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead, yeah.
Thank you very much. This is a wonderful film. Quick question about the opposition to making it a sanctuary. Certainly in the film, the suggestion is that it's largely economic, but I'm wondering if China and Russia opposing it, if strategic issues are also at play as they are in the Arctic.
Right. So the question's about the opposition that we see in the film to creating the Antarctic sanctuary, and if you know more about them.
Sure. I do think that geopolitics is more than just about the straight economics, and so with Russia and China, there's a little bit of a philosophical issue. They don't want to be having any areas close to the potential for resource extraction. With Russia, they worry about losing influence in a part of the world where they currently have it. But the biggest problem for us has been industrial fishing and the influence that those small number of companies have over their governments.
What do you think that the fact that we all together made the Norwegian company to stop fishing, what effect will that create for the future?
It was huge. First, it really helps us change the position of Norway. And Norway, from the film, you could see was one of the countries that was a problem. And that has a lot of influence on China because the main two fleets that were operating are the Norwegians and the Chinese. And if the Norwegians say, well, okay, we're not going to fish here anymore, it's a little bit harder for China to keep doing the same.
Which is to say that signatures matter and people pressure matter. I mean, because that wasn't the reality when we get on the boat. So that gave us hope, no?
Because a lot of times you think that you can't do anything to change it, and that's what I like about the film that you did. Yeah.
Well, you guys have an election in a month, no? So I think this is the time to vote for the guys that represent what you believe in. No?
Okay, we've got lots of questions. I am going to go to you, and I'll get to you next. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so with this being primarily a film that is an active science communication, and with the growth in science communication as a topic and an industry, what has your experience been communicating such topics to the public, and how do you think we could encourage continued growth in communication of how these scientific topics affect our everyday lives?
Right. So the questions about the communication, the science communication, and I think you can. Who will answer this? You.
Well, I've been doing press all day long, and I have to say that people really listen, because this is beyond political parties, economics, social status, races. This is about us. And one thing that I know for sure, I'm 50-year-old. That's why I don't want to talk about my sexual life. But one thing that we have to understand is that the new generations, the Gretas of the world, are really leading the way, and we, the old people, have to follow their path, because they know better than us, and they are way more aware of what to do and who to put up there to govern over us, rather than us, which we are full of different greeds. And that's basic. I think that's why I have the hope that when I talk to the adults, it's like, don't worry, just listen to your kids. Just listen to the people that are talking on the schools, because they know. And that's the beautiful part of it. That's what also brings me hope.
And you had a question here, sir? Go ahead.
I was just curious how supportive Canada has been in your endeavors.
How supportive has Canada been? So they're not a member of the Antarctic Commission, but they are obviously an important country when it comes to ocean conservation issues. And so at the United Nations, I wish the news was better. They haven't really been showing the leadership that we've been hoping. The proposals that they've been putting forth, what they've been saying, have really been, well, they'll fall far short of what was needed. It's not going to be much beyond the status quo, and that isn't going to get it done right now. So Canada's important. If we come into the next meeting, the next session where the UN is negotiating this treaty, it could be the final one in the spring, and Canada has gotten a little bit stronger, it would make a big difference.
And a question over here. Go ahead.
Are there Canadian chapters of Greenpeace that are working to gather Canadian signatures to present to all the parties?
Right. So are there Canadian chapters of Greenpeace that are working to collect signatures?
Yes, in fact, and there is an office here in Toronto, there's one in Montreal, and also Vancouver, and they would absolutely love your help.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have lots and lots of questions. Yeah, over there. Go ahead.
Are you reaching out to the thousands of people who use cruise lines, are wealthy, retired, in many cases politically influential in your campaign?
Right. So people, like if there's outreach to people that use cruise lines, wealthy individuals that could probably have a lot of clout.
We are trying
me.
everything.
Yeah.
So yes, and if you have connections there, let's talk about that.
A question at the back. Go ahead. Yeah, with the white shirt. Yeah. Go ahead.
So kind of in concert to young people of the world kind of leading the way, which I agree with, and they're being so savvy with social media and spreading the word where their dollar should be spent. Is there waters continue fishing so that people can go there and see who is doing that and choose to possibly stop spending money there.
Right.
That's very effective.
Yeah.
If you look on the Greenpeace website, you can find a report called License to Krill, and that has some good information on those companies.
And what is it? What is?
License to Krill.
I love it. And you see all like the companies that are actually on the area fishing the krill. Wow.
There's a krill list then. Yeah. Sorry.
But that right there, what you mentioned, it's a very strong action, like to read the prospects of what we buy and be aware of what we're doing. It's always under a political standard. Like we are taking decisions by the way we consume, and that's important because they care about that because it's about money. No.
Absolutely. And I would just add, as important as that is, that can absolutely make a difference. And then one step beyond that, let those companies know. Don't just, it's important, but don't just change what you buy, but also let them know what you're doing and why.
Thank you. So we do have to wrap it up, but are there any parting thoughts that you would like to leave us with? Si hay algo que quieres decir para cerrar.
Well, the time has come. I will leave that for the next festival.
The next festival.
I will open the debate with that. No, I only have to say thank you, Diana, for having us because it's so important that we can show this movie. And thank you very much for taking your time to sit down and listen and watch. Thank you.